Hello Flosstube, it's Linda Richter, Richter Stitcher on YouTube. This is my Flosstube. I have been pretty busy the last couple months. I think the last time I came on I was actually, let's see, September-ish when I was doing my fall house tour. You'll see that as my last pop-in, I guess. Still doing coffee, but lots of things here in the craft room. We got it all organized and things where I know they're at. And I just wanted to come on since it's December 1st, 2022, and kind of document some of the things that I've been doing and upcoming plans, as well as a little bit of haul. Not supposed to be spending, but it just happens. And I actually have a couple finishes that I didn't share in the last 2 months, so sorry I've been absent, but life happens. Anyway, I did want to start with WIPGO. It's the first one that I didn't complete both projects, but like I said, it's been kind of crazy. Fall, around September, October, starts to get busy with the decorating and putting it all away. So because of that, I focused on one, and it's still not done. I got the goal met for one of them for November, but I want to complete it. I don't think it was a finish. Maybe it was a finish. It was supposed to be a finish, I should say. But because it's December 1st, I did not complete that because things got a little busy. But it's a gift, so I need to finish that in the next 10 days and then have that out of the way. So I will reach that goal, but it will be a little late. And then the other one I didn't even pick up because of all that's been going on, but I'll share that now with my WIPGOs. The one I'm speaking about is, it's called Winnie the Pooh. It was a freebie that I received, so I don't have a great picture of it. It's mostly words, but let me see where the paper is here. Here's the words. It says, sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. And then it's signed Winnie the Pooh, and then the back side is actual Winnie. So I'll show you how far I got on that. And like I said, the words go really quick, and because of that, I think 10 days is plenty. I just gotta sit down and do it. So I almost finished the word heart. Get all that off of there. My black thread gets everywhere. I need my little fuzz catcher. Anyways, I did the words, sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. So I got the T, and then after that I have, what, 3 more words. Just his signature, Winnie the Pooh. I guess it's a he. So that's going to be a nice finish, and then I have some frames that I can frame it up and give it as the gift that I have in mind. So that was the one for November. The other one for November that I didn't even pick up is, I think it's the Fat Quarter Shop. It's Sew by Row, and as you can see, I didn't even get it on the frame. But I'll show you where I was, and hopefully before the new year I can pick up. My goal for that one was, let's go to December real quick, or not December, November. Yeah, I was supposed to do one motif on it, so I think I had started. The scissors, the tomato are done, and that third row is a, let me get the pattern out for you. A little scattered, but I will get there. Let's see. Yeah, the sewing machines was the third row, so I had started it, so I need to get the sewing machine finished, the green one, and that one will have that goal met, and I can put that one away. But I'm using, let's see if the card's here. I hope I put it in here. Yeah, I did. I'm using a silver white 14 count Ada, and I love the sparkle. I don't know if it's showing on the camera or not, but it It came with the DMC thread pack, so I am using all the call for colors on that. Winnie the Pooh, I used my flosses on the wall and just got as close as I could to the colors that were on there. But that's going to happen in December. I'm pretty sure I can get that motif done. So I am going to leave this one out, but Winnie the Pooh as well is going to stay out. But my December goals, questionable if I'll pick them up or not. I'm hoping so in the month of December, but with all that's going on, I'm not positive. So I guess out of the whole year, when you look at my calendar, where did I put it? I just had it. It's probably buried here with all my stuff that I'm trying to organize. These will be my next month's Whip Go. And of course it's the last month of the year, so the last two numbers on it, I wish I could find it. Oh, here it is. Found it. Is numbers 4 and 23 for me. Well, for everybody, but for me it's Quaker Flag, which is the Stitcher hood. I'm supposed to do 50 X's on that. If things are slow enough around here, I think I might be able to, but I'll show you where I am so far on this one. Got a few hanging threads, but I've done a few of the, haven't done the white in that end one, not yet, but 50 X's, I'll finish that one up and maybe start a few more. See if my card is in here. Yes, here it is. We are doing this on 16 count, beautiful beige. No, beautiful Ada. Yeah, it's a beige. And I'm using 3 DMC colors, 821, 304, and B5200. I started this back in 2020 as a 4th of July start, so it's coming along. Just that's why I do Whip Go, though, is to at least get a few stitches in every year, and I feel like they're not just sitting on this shelf. So that's one of the ones for December. And then the other one I put on here for my granddaughter Briar Rose to start, what do they call them? A birth sampler, I guess is what they're called. I had one in mind when I put this on here, and it was going to be this Shannon Christie one, but as I looked at it, it's pretty detailed and it looks like a lot of work, and I didn't have the flosses kitted for that one yet, so I think it was at least 3 or 4 months ago. I forget her first name, but her Flosstube is Cup of Stitches. She had a sale going on, and it was a full kit. That looks a little bit simpler than that one, so I am still going to do the sampler, but it's called Gabrielle Rose, which I thought was perfect since I have a granddaughter, Briar Rose. And it comes with the fabric and the floss. There's 13 colors in it. And it has, it says canvas for embroidery, so I'm not sure of the stitch count. It kind of looks like 14 count, but I'd have to get my little ruler and do the sizing of it, but it looks easy enough. But it came on these little floss cards with all of the floss, so I'll probably get my rings, and because it's just paper, but they're all numbered, so I'll number them on my rings when I start that. So the goal for that one was, what did I say? Did I say? Oh, it's on my chart. Oh, I just need to put in one strand of floss with that. So hopefully I can get to those 2 projects in December. But when I show and share with you all the other stuff that I've been doing, it's questionable. So I wanted to thank those that have come back and are my normal watchers. I appreciate every one of you. being absent for 2 months, I've noticed a little decrease in my subscribers, but I'm not concerned about that. I just do this, like I said, to document as well as just share the craftiness that I enjoy. So I am happy to be here and glad that you guys have come back and returned. So that's my Whipco, and like I said, just looking at my chart, I'm hoping to fill in the 2 for December, but this was the first month of November that I did not complete my goals. All the other months I've been able to do, which I'm very pleased with. I have a finished goal on each one of those, so it'll be nice to look back at that. And then sometime in December I need to plan for my January. I do want to do it again, but what I might do, instead of putting 25 different whips on that calendar, I will probably just look at the ones that have meaning, like the birth sampler for my granddaughter, just things that I want to gift to people, and put those on my Whipco, and just so that I can see myself finishing and getting them to those people that I've intended them for. So that's the plans for Whipco. I should have made notes on what I wanted to go through because everything's kind of scattered here. But let's go through the things that I've worked on in the last couple months since I've been on. Done a little bit on a couple of cross stitch. I've done a little bit of craftiness here in the craft room, and the 2 finishes that I've had in the last 2 months, one was for fall and one is actually a Christmas finish. I shared them on my Instagram, but I'll share those as well. So let's just go to the cross stitch first that I've been working on or started in the last 2 months. This one is a freebie from Fat Quarter Shop called Christmas Time, the Mystery Stitch Along. I seen that and I had to kit it and say, okay, we're gonna do this. I mean, I might not finish it right away, and I didn't get too far, but I did start it back in September on the 18th, and then I picked it up again on November 1st and did a few more stitches. But this is where I've gotten, and I love the way the reds look on this fabric. And do I write down the fabric? Let me see. Yeah, it's a 14 count also. Gold natural Zweigart. Bleh. Words. And I'm doing 2 stitches over 1. 2 strands of floss over 1. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors, but right now I'm focusing on the, I think that's the dark red right there, which is DMC 326. So I've got my little reindeer on there, and I've started the bow, and one of the, I guess that's like a present on that side. If the picture shows it. Oh, it's a peppermint. So I've started the peppermint, and the hanging ribbon on the top of the bow has been put in. Sometimes I look at the color and think, if I can get most of the red in that's on there, then I'll switch colors. But I still struggle with which colors to do first, or if I should go straight row to row like some people do, you know, across the rows. But that was one thing I started back in September, and I did kit it up and put all the flosses on a ring. I use these floss tags right now. They have the big holes in them, and these are the colors of that I picked out. And like I said, there's 7 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 colors. So that can just easily be picked up. Oops, I just pulled off some. We don't want to lose that. Stick that back on there real quick. There we go. And then I love my magnets because things stick to my magnets, and then I can just put this right back in the bag. So that was one start in September that I just had to do with Christmas, although I've got a lot of Christmas things started. But you guys know how it goes. You just see something, it's like, oh, I gotta kit that up. So that's what I did there. I'm just gonna set these back here as I show them to you. Put them away later. Another one that I had to kit up, I haven't started it, but I did kit it up when I seen it. It was back in fall when I was decorating in October, I guess it was. Maybe it was September. But Twin Peak Primitives put this out as a freebie, and it's called Zigzag's Carnival. So I thought that was just adorable. I mean, they're dressed for winter, so it's still wintry, but it was during the fall that they put this out. So they're on a corn that's made into a sled, which I thought was just adorable. So I just went to my stash, serged the edges, found my starting point, filled out my card, and it's just ready to go. And the colors that I'm picked out, I decided to use, I don't know if this is the proper way to say it, but it's the Étoile DMC, which is the sparkly stuff. And on this fabric, I think it'll look good. It's a 14 count, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, I kitted it back on September 29th. And does it have my fabric here? I don't think I wrote my fabric down. I need to do that. It's a dirty Aida. It's a 14 count. I can tell just by looking at it. But yeah, I did not put down what fabric that is. But it's just a cut piece that I know I've used, so I know that's the Aida. But these are the Étoiles that I'm using. And I just got as close as I could to their pattern colors. And that's kind of what I've been doing with a lot of my kitted ones. And I've bought a lot more, so I've filled up my pegs a little more with some floss as I go to Hobby Lobby or something, or Walmart even. I just grab a bunch and come home, and I actually was able to get them on their pegs. That takes time. You have to look at the number from the, what do you call this? The color card code. And I think I've mentioned this before in other Flosstubes, but if you're curious how I organize them there on the wall, each of these have numbers, column 1, column 2, column 3. So I starting on the left to the right, I count, okay, that's peg 1, peg 2, peg 3. So all these numbers get put on each individual peg. And then as I kit them, I put them on the floss tags. And then when I'm finished with whatever I'm using, then I'll take the floss tags. I didn't do it with these, but that's the plan going forward, is put everything on floss tags as I use a skein and number the floss tag, and then the floss tags will go on the pegs with the ring. So that's the plan going forward. I mean, that might change next year. Oh my. I guess I pulled you over. Sorry guys, did that stop the recording? No, we are still recording. Whee! Let's pause. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back, guys. That is hilarious. I've done this I don't know how many times, but it's because I've got this stupid corded mic, and I need to just invest in a cordless mic. They're just so expensive. Anyway, I'm sorry for the collapse, but as I was saying, that's kind of what I do with my DMCs on the floss tags. But that was another September, end of September, the 29th start for me. So that will go in my kitted projects, and maybe 23, 24, not 2023, 24, I'll put that on my WIPCO list and try and just plug away at it. That's kind of what I enjoy, is kitting it up, starting something, and then just having something to pull out if I want to do something different. So those are pretty much my cross stitch things that I started. So let's go on to finishes the last couple months. And I think I put this in the tail end of one of my let me see if you guys are on camera first. I think I moved you. I think that's better. But I finished my fall when we were up at the lake one week, and I went ahead and fully finished it with this pumpkin mug that I had found. And I don't remember if it was Priscilla and Chelsea or one of the tutorials I watched showed how to ripple your fabric and kind of give it a rustic, crusty rustic look, I guess they called it. But this is one of Priscilla and Chelsea's patterns that I kind of changed a little. I don't think they were the crows that were there. There was something else that I didn't like, and then I widened the cup a little, but I kept the scarecrow the same. But I did it on the black 14 count, which I had to put a light underneath so that you could see the stitches. So black isn't easy to stitch on, but I did enjoy it. Just like I said, the process of finishing and starting something is fun for me. So changing it up is, you know, what we do when we want to. If you don't like something on the pattern, you can put something else in there. And I don't think they mind that. I think they've mentioned in the past that it's kind of fun for them to see what people do with their patterns. But certain ones I don't do that with, but some of them I do, just because, you know, it's all depends on what I have in my stash, or I'm not a Halloween person, so, you know, if there's things that, you know, ghosts or whatever, you know, I don't feel funny changing those out into something else. But that was one of the fully finishes that I don't want to store it away, so I'm going to just keep it out in my craft room probably whenever I have a finish. Like I hung my kitty cat over there on the wall, and don't, you know, even displaying them on a shelf or something. And then when fall comes again, I'll decorate with those kind of finishes. I don't have too many, but now I have that one. And the other finish that I'm really excited about, and I might have shared it on Flosstube 9 or 10, but when I looked at my book, don't want to pull you over. Sorry, I got to be careful how many steps I make. Let me see if I can get to it quickly here. Don't know if it was September or October. Oh, you know what? My card will tell me when I finished it. That's why I do these little cards. Yeah, it was in October. I started it back in 2020, February 14th. I've mentioned this in the past, for Lost and Floss, Barb and Leanne. I think because Leanne passed away, we wanted to start in honor of her, and a lot of people were doing it too, because just as a memory of those that you've had in your life that have passed. So that's kind of why I did it as well. There's many, you know, my mother-in-law and father-in-law. You just think of that. So because of that, the only change I made, and then other people I've seen do it, is I put the little cardinals on the top of the roof. I put 2, and that way it's just in memory of you and your loved one. And of course with Barb and Leanne, they were dear friends, so it was just special to be a part of that. And this is my finish. I think I've shared it, but I wanted to share it again since I've been off so long. I just want to kind of catch myself back up. Oops, we got a little string there. Let's get that off of there. But I am so pleased with this. During the kitting, I ran out of this dark brown, so at a close distance you can see a little bit of the color change, but I'm not going to pull it out. I like it the way it is, and I'll just frame it up myself and have it up for Christmas either this year. If I don't get to it this year, it will definitely be done for next year. I thought about taking it somewhere and having it framed, but at this time in my life I'm just not there yet. I'll do it myself. So yeah, I dated it 2022 and put my initials on it. But I'm very pleased with how the snowflakes and the house turned out. I love it. When I look at it, it's pretty. Brings memories, and Christmas time with the snow is just, I mean, I love this time of year. So that is another finish that I had, and I wanted to share that today as well. So let me set these behind me without knocking you over. Next, I think I want to go to other things that I've been working on. It's not cross stitch. I have a little bit of cross stitch haul to share, but I don't want to do that quite yet, so I'll just share the other craftiness that I have, that I enjoy and have started, and we'll go with that. So I am a crocheter. I like to crochet, and the other day I found a fingerless glove pattern that I wanted to try that actually has the cable, and if I edit and get to that, I might not with this one. I might just post it and have it out there so that I'm caught up for the year. But I can answer any questions if you just send me even on Instagram or comment below on YouTube. I can let you know what YouTube I used for this cable fingerless glove. But I started it. I'm not real happy with how it looks right now, but I think as I go, the cable will start to twist. So it will go on the back of the hand like this. And they're just front post stitches, and then the back is half double crochet stitches. So I think it's going to go up to the thumb, so I don't have too much more to go. A few more rows. This is row 5 that I'm on, and I think there's only 12 or 13 rows in each one, so they should go up really quickly. And I have a pair I've been wearing for a couple years now that I enjoy, so fingerless gloves make great gifts as well. So I've started that just the other day. I've made 2 of these. They are modern double thick crochet pot holders. This is actually a gift, so you know who you are. Smiley. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I just got to seam this one up, and it's going in the mail for Christmas. But I did red, white, and blue on this one, and then I sent her another one as well that's a little bit bigger, so you can make them however size you want. I chained 21 for this one across, and it's just regular double crochets. I think this is. Double check if you're a crocheter and want to know how simple these are. It doesn't take long to do them. You just have to do it. And I've had this one done. I just need to seam it up and get it in the mail, so that won't take long at all. I'm looking to see. These are, yeah, it's called whip stitch. That's what I need to do in the middle there, is just whip stitch it together. Yeah, they're just single crochets. That's all they are, so that's really simple. If you know how to single crochet, then that pattern is pretty easy. And again, if you want to know where this one comes from, julesandjones.com. And I don't think it was a YouTube, but yeah, it's a video tutorial. So yes, there is a video tutorial. If you're interested and want to know, I can send you that. But they're just quick and easy, and what I like about them is they're thick. You can, I mean, you don't have to whip stitch it up either. You could actually, let me hold this, use them to grab things out of your oven. So that's an idea, and just cut off your yarn at the ends so that it doesn't fray. But I never thought of that, because you've seen those rubber ones that you can get. They're not as thick, but if you kept it thick and whip stitch this up, it's a little thicker. But this size, I think you'd probably want to use it for putting something hot on. The bigger one that I made would be better to grab something out of the oven with. But they're 100% cotton, so they should be fine for that. So those are the yarn whips. Oh, there's one more yarn whip that I've been working on, and I need to finish it because it's also a Christmas gift. But this has been in the making for a while. It's almost there. But everybody loves buffalo check, and I found this pattern a while ago, but it's almost there. You can see I just wanted to go a little bit more and call this one done. I made my husband a hat to match with this stitch, and I don't have the pattern right here, but it's also a YouTube tutorial that I found, and it looks like triple crochet just from looking, but I couldn't be positive. I'd have to look at the pattern tutorial again, but I can get that easily because I've saved all of my tutorials for crocheting and knitting on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested and want to know where that pattern's from, just comment below. Okay, now we'll move to things that I've made craftiness. First, I haven't finished them yet, but the Lori Holt design boards. I have one here somewhere over there on the table. They're thinner, but I had some of these, what do you call them? I don't even know where I got it. It was really large and I just cut them up. Probably too close to the camera, I'm not sure. They are not real thick. I'd say 1/2 inch maybe, if that. So my plan, and I've cut the parts, I just need to put the batting on them. And then my plan after that, and I've cut and ironed them and they're ready to go. I found this, it's almost like a flannel, but I pressed each one into the size to bind them around, and I will probably just use, I'm not sure if I'll use Eileen's or a hot glue, but I'm going to go around the edges. This needs to be trimmed to the size of the styrofoam. And then these will hold my small blocks, because these ones are a little smaller, but 5-inch blocks that I make up for different sewing things that I'm doing. But besides these ones I need to finish, I actually finished some thicker ones because I just hate to throw anything away. I am a collector of things, as you can see from the craft room. I found cardboard that came in, I think it was furniture we got, a chair or a recliner. And you know how they pack those things with really thick cardboard. And I might have put it on my Instagram of how I did it, but it's just simple. You just take your batting and cover the cardboard, and I used hot glue. Got to be careful if you got little finger guards, do that, because I burnt myself a couple times in the process, but no blisters, just, I mean, it was hot, so you have to just be careful. So I made this size, quite a few. So my plan for these, again, I'm getting bigger as we go, but these ones will be for the 2.5-inch squares. As I make the little blocks, I will put them on these and set them next to my machine, and they'll just help me to, like, there's a couple quilt-alongs going around that are, you make small size blocks, set them aside, and when you get them all done, then you put them together. So these will help me to store and have them stay flat, is what I'm thinking. They might be good for ironing, but you just don't want to leave your iron on the cardboard, you'll burn it. So these are some other ones, different sizes, 10-inch blocks that I made. So if I have a 10-inch block ready to go, I've got a few of those. And then this one's just maybe 11 inches, so a little bit bigger. So I've made quite a few of those over the last couple months. That was fun. So let me set those without pulling you guys over down here on the floor. Real quick, this is just a little tip I had. I was talking with a friend this last couple weeks, and we were talking about how to get your blocks flat if you're a sewer. And someone mentioned on a Facebook page that I was commenting, it might have been Pat Sloan, her quilt page, but they said they used old cutting boards. And I'm not a cook, so I mean, I do cook, but I don't like to cook. So some of these cutting boards were just in my kitchen, not being used, and I thought I'll probably use them more in my craft room than I will in the kitchen. So they said you could, like, instead of using your clapper, and like this one's not real wide, if you needed something wider, a cutting board you could set on there because it's wood and it holds the heat and it will penetrate that through the fabric and it'll keep your blocks flatter. So I went and I've found like 4 different sizes. So if I'm doing a 10-inch block, you know, I have a big enough, and these are heavy. I mean, they're not light. So, and I mean, she also made a comment, my friend, a big, huge book. If you got a dictionary or something, you could do that as well. So just little tips that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to share that with you. I do have one clapper. I've ordered another one from R&R Woodworks. He's great. I mean, he'll do whatever size you want. So I had him make me a 3-inch by 4-inch, 4x8, but it's 3 pounds. So it's coming. So that'll be a haul next time I get on here. But I had him do it in the same style of wood. So I'll have 2 nice clappers and then a few cutting boards in my craft room for ironing and crafting. So I'm looking forward to that. So those are my little tip for today. Now we will move to, let's see, I've done that. Let's go ahead and move to the other sewing projects that I've started or need to finish this next month. So upcoming plans, I guess, is this segment. You've all probably seen, if you are a sewer, I don't want to knock anything over, Lori Holt has been doing the Scrappiness is Happiness. I'm behind. I think they're on block 3 or 4, and I've only done 1. And I've actually had to tear out one part because I wasn't happy with the way it looked when it finished. It's still the same bee that I've posted on Instagram, but it's not really straight and I'm not happy with the end pieces, so I cut me 2 new pieces that need to go on the bottom. So I'll just seam rip that one out, pin the 2 on there and whip them through my Singer, and that block will be done. But that is one of the quilt-alongs that I have started last month is when I did that, when they started that. So I was excited for my first 10-inch block that I've ever pieced together like that, so that was fun, which got me involved in wanting a design board on the wall, but I have to put that on hold right now. But with all these 10-inch pieces that I've made, and I have one fairly larger that it's one of those mats that you put on the floor for working out. I covered it with batting and used those command strips, and I put that on the back of my door. So if I want to put this one there while I make another block 2 or 3, that's kind of what I plan on doing. So that was a finish for that, and then a redo. So if you're interested in the Scrappiness is Happiness, I would recommend it because Lori Holt does a great job. She's step-by-step, which I like in her books, and of course I love the spiral binding. You can open up to whatever page and flip, so it's just great. And the scrappiness is the way I find myself sewing lately, because I have so much fabric stuffed away in all these cubbies and drawers, and so I think whatever pattern I do, I'm probably going to pull my own stash. I have bought a few lines that I like, and that's part of my haul here in a minute, but it's all about the collecting too. You got to do a little bit of that when you can. I'm kind of at a stopping point right now, but it's been fun the last few years being able to collect fabrics and things. It's just fun. All right, let's go to this other one. I started this a while ago, maybe three months ago. It's also another sewing tutorial that I like to watch called The Sewing Room on YouTube. But it's a table runner, and I got the runner part done. I just need to put the backing on and do my quilting straight lines probably on this one. So I'll finish that hopefully for this Christmas. Just depends on how busy it gets. If I have a free moment, I'm going to be in here doing these crafts, which I love. So this is on mostly, it's pretty big. I don't know how much of this I'm showing in the camera, but I just loved piecing this together. They're the 2.5-inch strips. I put the cardinal in the middle. Oh, I guess it's not on there. So let me pick that back up. It's not sewn on there yet. So that will be the quilting, but I posted it on my Instagram on my table already, so if you're interested in seeing it fully, and my canary's upside down. Everything's big. All right, there we go. But you know, I just enjoy the process again. Like I said, the piecing it together and which fabrics you're going to use with it. And these were 2.5-inch strip rolls that I had in my stash with a Walmart pattern fabric that I bought and thought for winter and Christmas that would be perfect. So that's one that I need to keep going at, but it's almost there. I'm loving that. Again, this is a Flosstube channel, but I do all kinds of crafts, so I hope those that enjoy this channel will come back and see all that I'm working on. I started this runner quite a while ago. All it needs is the binding, and it's my very first project that I started when I got back into quilting. I shouldn't say back in, when I learned to quilt. One of my friends at church got me started, and so the straight line quilting isn't perfect, but it's the, what are those, 4-inch blocks maybe? I can't, 4 or 5. That's the one thing I'm still learning, is cutting and getting precise on my sizing. But this line of fabric I loved because it was these village houses that are on here, and that's what I did the back on. Be careful because I got pins all stuck in this. But it's a Riley Blake, I'm pretty sure, fabric. And I was able to find more of it, so I do have enough to do a quilt if I want to. But for now, it'll be a table runner for Christmas. This is for me, not a gift. Since it's my first one, I have to keep my first one. But these others that I'm going to share will be gifts. So that's another one I'm working on. You've probably seen this pattern on Fat Quarter Shop. I've got several of them going, and I'll share those. I'll show the finished one. All it needs is binding, and I just think it's adorable. It's a Christmas tree, and it's also the 2.5-inch squares, and then the straight line quilting. I've just really enjoyed learning the process of this, and this will be a wall hanging. I'm thinking, I don't know if my mom watches this, but if she does, she knows what she's getting for Christmas, because all I have to do is bind this and get that to her. She loves Christmas time as much as I do, so that's fun. This is a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop called Charming Christmas Quilt, so if you're interested, you can go to their channel. Pat Sloan has a YouTube tutorial also sharing this, and I'm sure you've seen it. So I've also started one. It's not done yet, but I've cut the rows. Let me get these off here, and you just build your Christmas tree, yeah, taller, and then I'll just find a backing for it and then quilt it like I did this other one. So this has more of the fall colors to it, so at fall time I will put that one out for myself. And then this one is another Christmas gift. It's almost there. I'm thinking about taking the fabrics that I have and putting, like I did this first one, a border around it, and then find my backing from the squares that I have left. There's quite a few. It's got the metallics. I don't think I have the name of this, but I'm pretty sure it's a Riley Blake as well, but I could be wrong. But yeah, just it's fun piecing it, and I usually press my seams open. So this just, like I said, needs a backing and the quilting, and maybe I'll put a sash around the very edge. So I've done a few of those. They're fun to do. That's why I've made so many, and they're fairly quick. So those will be my progress this month for Christmas in the next 11 days. We'll see what I can do. I have a plan, but plans are made to be broken, right? More Christmas gifts that I've been working on. This is a pattern for They say soup bowl cozies, but I use them for my cereal in the morning when I have my oatmeal, and they can go in the microwave. You just have to be sure all of the materials, including your thread, are 100% cotton. So the batting, the fabric, as well as the thread all need to be 100%. Otherwise it could catch fire. So you don't leave them in there very long. Minute and a half, I think, is my oatmeal that I make. So not long at all. It just helps. And you can do it also, depending on the size you make, for coffee cups. If you don't want to touch your coffee cup when you're pulling it out of the microwave, if you reheat your coffee in the microwave. I don't, but some people do. Anyway, you just, even the bowls, you don't want to burn yourself, so the 100% cotton helps. So I have a few of these made up that I'm planning to give as gifts for Christmas. So I've got some small ones and some large ones, and I just kind of picked some fat quarters that I found in my stash. And let's see if I have any others over here. Yes, they're under here. I've cut them to size. I've got them mostly pinned. I did some snowmen with the red, and here's some more of the cardinals. And these are Walmart fabrics mostly, and then some holly. So I've just got all kinds ready to just sit down at the sewing machine and follow the steps. So that pattern I got through a guild here in the Dallas area, because the lady that got me quilting found me that pattern and I was able to get it. It is free, so if you're interested I can probably answer that for anybody, but it's just simple steps. They just look like little bowl cozies. I'm not sure where the top page of this went, but that's kind of what I've been doing. Oh, there it is. With sewing the last couple months. So it's been fun to get these back out now that I did all the organizing in here. I've got 4 machines ready to take these projects, put one on each one, and get her done. That's the plan anyway. So you just need 2 fabrics. 10-inch squares is the basic one that I started and I've been doing, but you can do the smaller ones as well. 7 by 9 I think is the other size. But you just take 2 different colored fabrics that you want, cut them that size, and then follow the steps of pinning and making the shape into a bowl, which I thought would be hard, but it's really not. It's actually fun. So I've done that the last couple years for gifts. So that's another sewing project. And the last sewing project, and then we'll get to my haul. Sorry, I didn't know how long this was going to be, but I guess I've been busy sewing more than anything. Oh, it was also the same time that I picked up the cross stitch for Christmas time. They put out a mystery quilt along, so I had to do that as well. I haven't started it, but I have picked out my backing, and the fabric I'm using is called Holiday Flourish. It's called Hello, My Name is 10 Square by Robert Kaufman. And now that I see Robert Kaufman's name, the Christmas tree, metallic Christmas tree one that I did, it's a Robert Kaufman fabric. And I love them. They're just, I mean, you cannot help but love, I mean, the prints. They're so pretty. And they're metallic-y, the holly. Oh, it's just beautiful. So that's my plan for the Christmas time quilt along. I didn't stay up to par. I should call them start-alongs because I start things, but I don't keep up with them. But since they're started, they'll get finished someday. So that's kind of what I've been doing with quilting and sewing lately. It's kind of taken over my life. So yeah, I've got my backing as well as my binding here, and then all the pieces that I want to use to make the presents and the peppermints and the coffee mug. And if it's got a coffee mug in it, I got to do it, right? So that's that project. So those are my sewing things that I've been working on, as well as the craftiness. And now we will move to haul. I'm just going to set these down here so I don't knock anything over. put these all away in just a little bit. We're almost done, guys. Sorry this has taken so long. So now we'll move to my haul that I've gotten the last few months that I don't think I shared, as well as some Happy Mail that I'm just thrilled with. I'm so thankful for this person, but she knows who she is. She's actually, I mean, if you have somebody that you communicate with that does the same things that you do, it's just a blessing to have somebody like that, and I just want to thank her. So as for haul, let's see. Let's start with just quilty stuff, I guess. Let's go there first. Lori Holt again has a line out called Prairie, and one of my floss tubes, I think 9 or 10, I can't remember exactly, I showed the 5-inch squares from that line, and so when I seen the 2.5-inch squares on sale, I think it was either Amazon or one of the Etsy shops that I use, I had to get the 2.5-inch squares. So now I have that and the 5-inch, and then whenever I find the 10-inch, I will probably get that as well, because these colors are just gorgeous to me for spring, or you know, the farm look, the country look. I love it. So I'll make something with it. I'm not sure what yet, but that was a purchase. This is a gift, but she knows who she is and she already knows she's getting it, so I had to purchase this. She's a cross stitcher, but she is getting into loving the sewing and she's wanting to learn, so I thought this would be a great companion. I have it myself, so now she can have a copy as well, and it just helps you with the pre-cuts. If you have a 10-inch square or a 2.5-inch square, these have quilts in here that will help you know what to do and how to do each one, how much you need, and it's just a great little thing to have. So that was a purchase. Of course, I've been using the Alphabetties from Fat Quarter Shop, and then I found some magnets that were the ABCs or the 1, 2, 3s, and they work as well, but these are flatter, so I had to purchase another set. So I've got 2 sets of these now for when you quilt and lay out your patterns. You like to keep them organized, so those really do help. And then back to my cross stitch supplies. I needed more hooks because I have been collecting more flosses and kitting things up, so I went ahead and got the 1.5, a nice big box. I think it comes with 100, as well as the 1-inch that I actually put the DMC floss on individually, so you tend to use quite a few, so I got 100 more of those. So those are a couple purchases. And then I forget, oh, on Etsy there's a shop called Cottage Quilts 2, and she sent me a quilt pattern, which I think is so cute, so I might have to try that. It's blocks and strips, so it looks very simple. So when I ordered these things, this came with it, but I'll share you the panel I ordered as well as the fabrics. I got a French Cottage by Jan Shore, and it's kind of in the blues, so I'll use it for something, but I loved it, so I just thought that was so pretty. I got a yard of each, so even making cross stitch bags and things, you know, this could be the inside or the outside, just depends, but that's kind of what I was envisioning when I bought it. And then I bought the, what's this one called? It's also by Jan Shore, which is a Benertex company, which I think Pat Sloan, that's where she gets most of her lines from. It's just called French Cottage. So this is French Cottage. It's got the blues, and this I thought went so well with it. And then they are 100% cotton. The French Cottage, yeah, these are both French Cottage, so they go together. So I had to get a yard of each of those. And then they also had, which I didn't realize, the For the Love of Nature by Riley Blake, but it's a Teresa Kogut pattern. So I purchased the pattern, which is, you'll see on here, I mean, I didn't do the strips, I did the panel, that's what it's called, words. So I bought the panel, and these are the easiest quilts you can make with a panel. You just have to put on the sashing on around it, and then a binding, and then the backing, of course. So I had to get that. I don't know if you can see the whole thing or not. Love of Nature, so it's got a house on it, gotta have it, and all the animals and the trees, so I just love it. So that was a must buy on an Etsy shop that I thought was, I mean, her pricing is wonderful. She has sales, and I couldn't pass it up. And everybody's been talking about Teresa Kogut's new line, as well as the bags that you can make, and people making bags with her fabrics, and I had to have something from Teresa Kogut. So I got that with the pattern to make the quilt. So I'll look in my stash and see what other colors that might go with this panel. And then the last purchase, it was a pieced purchase, but because of that, I'm sure if you guys watch Teresa Little Stitcher, as well as Karen the Needlebug, the last month or so, they've been talking about a new year, new start. And last year I did a New Year's start. I don't remember which one of my projects it was, but when they started talking about it, I was like, yes, I need to do this. But I went to my stash of whips and patterns, and I did not have one lady or man cross stitch, so I have to do at least one. So that's the plan with this New Year, New Start. So I started looking around at what I would enjoy, and of course, looking around in my craft room, you can kind of tell when you see what I picked why I picked it. But I've never done a Mirabilia, and I've never done beading. I've done a little bit of Krynic, but not silk or metallic. I've done metallic DMC and the Etoile DMC. So I like to experiment and see if I like it. So I guess I'm going to do that as well with the Krynic and the beads. Not sure the first thing to do with beads, but I have lots of you out there that I can ask, as well as some that I already talked with that will help me. So my choice for the New Year, New Start, with, I think the hashtag is hashtag Teresa Made Me Do It, Sal. So it's a stitch along starting January 1st. If you want to get on the board, I think it'll be fun. Teresa usually goes live on YouTube, or not live, well, maybe it is live. It is live on YouTube on Sundays. So she's been updating us on how things look, and like last Sunday she shared with us what the hashtag was going to be. So it's just fun. But I am going to do it on a 16 count white Aida. That's not what the pattern calls for, but I can't spend any more money and I don't have the right color. So white is going to be, which I think will look good in here, because it'll be in my craft room when I finish it, however long it takes. Just so that you know, this is the person I purchased it from. It's an Etsy shop. Her name is Arena. And let me find the card that has her name on it. I don't want to share my address. And hopefully I'm saying this right, but it's called Mirabilia. So I'll share that with you. It's an .etsy.com. I don't know if it's showing up. Let's see, I'll get closer. Don't want to get too close. But if you can read that, take a screenshot. That is where I purchased the Krynic, as well as the beads and the pattern. Of course, when I was doing this, I thought I ordered the pattern, first, as well as the beads come together. And when it came, it was just the beads. I thought, okay, well, I have to have the pattern. So I went back and I told her my mistake. I thought I was getting both. Thankfully, it took 2 to 3 days to get the beads, so that's how much time had elapsed between getting the beads and me realizing it didn't come with the pattern. So I got on Etsy real quick and messaged her and let her know that I need the pattern too, because every time I went to go look at different ones that I thought I was going to do, I'd go back in a few days and they were sold out. So it was like, okay, I need to make up my mind what I'm going to do and get it here before January 1st. So thankfully she still had the pattern, as well as the specialty thread, the Krynic. So I told her, please, pattern and Krynic, so that way I have the beads from this pattern as well as the Krynic. And then finally, here is the pattern I chose, and you'll see why. I love her. She is a gorgeous tealy green lady, and she is called, what is she called? Oh, gee, I just seen it. Where did I see it? On the receipt, maybe? Yes. It's called Portrait of Veronica. I love Veronica. The V on my daughter's name is Vanessa. I mean, she looks like a Veronica. And that dress has the teals in it, the greens, and the Krynic, I'm assuming, is her dress bodice up there, because that's the color that this looks like, and I think it's just going to be gorgeous. So that will be my New Year, New Start. Like I said, it might take a few years, maybe 5, I don't know. I'm just going to enjoy the process and look forward to my very first Mirabilia Lady Veronica Portrait of Veronica. So that will be exciting. So like I said, I got the beads and the Krynic. All that's left are maybe a dozen DMC. I have not checked my wall, so I'm hoping I have a few of those up there. And then if I need to run to Hobby Lobby, or it's most likely where I'll go is Hobby Lobby, because it's just on the corner here. So that's the plan for my New Year, New Start. So if you're interested in starting a Mirabilia with us, just check out Teresa Little Stitcher on YouTube and join the club. So that has been fun, just to get that. And like I said, I'm still going to enjoy the process of finding the DMCs that are needed. So that was my last haul. And then lastly, I don't know how long this video is going to be after I collapsed you once. I got some Happy Mail, and I wanted to thank her publicly. Starlet Stitcher, Tanya, sent me a Christmas gift. Thank you so much. And she knows what I've been doing with all this kitting, so she made me some floss tags, which are just beautiful. Look at these. There's daisies and trees, and it almost looks like, what do you call it? Shiplap on that one. Then there's polka dots, and then farm living over here. And then she stuck a little needle minder in here that has like scissors and buttons, and it's just adorable. So I wanted to thank her publicly for these floss tags, as well as a quarter yard of a 28 count coffee Jobelin even weave fabric. So she knows I love coffee, and she said I needed to have coffee fabric in my stash, since I love coffee so much. So thank you so much, Tanya. I really appreciate that. So I have been collecting more fabrics. I've just been picking them up at Hobby Lobby, and whenever they're on sale. You've seen a few in the past on my Flosstubes, but now I have another 28 count I will be using definitely. Still learning the 1/2 and all that on which fabrics, but when I pick a pattern that will go on, I will be reaching out to make sure I'm doing it properly. So that was a fun little Happy Mail. So I guess that's pretty much what's been happening the last 2 months for me. A lot of organizing, and like I said, with fall, you've seen my last, if you watched my last pop-in back in September, end of September, I was putting out my fall decorations, and I didn't video putting it all away. I mean, we did finally get that done just last week, but we always keep it up till Thanksgiving, day after, and then that's when it starts coming down. So I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and you're geared up for the holidays coming up very shortly. I mean, we're December 1st, guys, so it's going to be here before we know it. Plans, like I said, are just going to be focusing on getting these Christmas gifts made up, and then the whip go, as well as the cross-stitch gifts that I need to finish. So hopefully I'll get, those are priorities, so those will have to get done in the next 11 days. Once the 11th of December gets here, I can look at all the other fun stuff I've started and just pick something and go to town. So thank you for joining me, and again, Richter Stitcher here, and I hope to come back on in January. So it's going to be probably a monthly thing, if not 4 to 6 weeks. I hate to say that, but right now that's the way it's looking. But I look forward to sharing what I've done the last month when I see you again. Happy stitching.